Our goal is to build the absolute best endurance products in the world. These athletes give us the input they need to make sure they can compete with the best people out there. That's how we build our products. Okay, so these are some key carbohydrate misconceptions out there, and I consult with the best pro Ironman athletes in the world, best pro cyclists in the world, some team doctors, and let me tell you, 95% of the people out there get this wrong. So I want to make sure real clear that you guys as trainer are real clear on how this works. Sugars are high glycemic. Is that true or false?
False. In terms of the sugar.
Ah, very good. Very good. 9 out of 10 times that question gets answered wrong. Sugars are not high glycemic. Okay? Glucose is the highest glycemic sugar. Fructose is a simple sugar. It's one of the lowest glycemic sugars. So when someone tells me I don't have any sugar because it's high glycemic or gives me a sugar high or sugar crash, that's absolutely false. You got to tell me exactly what sugar you're talking about. Complex carbohydrates like maltodextrin are slow burning. Is that true or false? False. Again, maltodextrin, it's a complex carbohydrate. It is not slow burning. Maltodextrin is one of the highest glycemic sugars out there, meaning maltodextrin gets absorbed very fast, gives you a sugar high, and gives you a sugar crash. It's a complex carbohydrate. Okay? This is highly misunderstood out there. Sugar is bad for my health. Is that true or false?
False.
False again. Sugar is not bad for your health. Sugars at high glycemic sugars at rest can be bad for my health because I get a sugar high and a sugar crash. But telling me sugar is bad for my health is also like saying fruits and vegetables are bad for my health, because fruits and vegetables are primarily sugar. So keep that in mind. Now, like I said, I consult mostly with endurance athletes. Since I'm doing a long race, I need a slow burning fuel. False. You guys know where I'm going with this. That's also false. We talked about glycogen stores in your muscles, and your body converts that to glucose to be able to exercise. That's a fact that happens to everybody out there. If I consume something right now that's slow to absorb, it's going to be stuck in my stomach, and I'm exercising, what's my body going to do? It's going to take my glycogen that's stored in my muscles, and it's going to use that until that food gets absorbed. So if I'm doing a marathon, if I'm doing an Ironman, and I'm looking for a slow-burning sugar or slow-burning meal because I'm doing something long, you're causing your body to start tapping into its stored glycogen, waiting for that fuel to be absorbed. That's the absolute worst thing you can do, because as soon as you've run out of your stored glycogen, which you have roughly 2 hours worth, as soon as you run out of that, you're going to bonk, you're going to run out of energy, and you're going to be in a world of hurt. So the whole goal in endurance is to hold on to that stored glycogen for as long as you possibly can. The best way to do that is to immediately start fueling with fast sugars or fast carbohydrates or fast fuels every 15 minutes or as quickly as you can, and keep using that fuel for as long as you can so you're holding on to your stored glycogen. The better you do that, the longer you can go. We work with ultra runners that are running 24 hours straight, and they're using fast fuels the entire time with much higher rate of success than trying to use slower fuels.
Every 15 minutes?
The more often, the better.
That's a lot of interruption in a race.
That's a lot of, yeah. It won't work for everybody, but if you can take little sips every 15 minutes, great. You're constantly delivering fuel to the working muscle.
So what supplement would be the best? And say you are running a marathon, you're talking about taking little sips. Which one of those is the best thing to consistently have?
There it is. Voila!
Good scripted, you get scripted.
EFS, that's our electrolyte fuel system. And I wanted to lead into that so you understand why we have 3 high glycemic sugars in our product. Okay, we have maltodextrin. It is high glycemic. It gets absorbed really, really fast. We have sucrose and we have glucose in the product. All 3 are high glycemic. And now you understand why this product can be used whether you're doing a marathon, Ironman, ultra-distance marathon, or just an hour workout. No matter what distance you're doing, the whole goal is to fuel those muscles and hold on to your stored glycogen. So we use a mixed carbohydrate sources. We also have over 1,000 milligrams of all 5 electrolytes, and that's also critical. So many people focus on sodium, or maybe sodium and potassium. Okay, cellular respiration, which is the nutrients going in and out of your cell, requires all 5 electrolytes. If you start pumping a bunch of sodium, you get an electrolyte imbalance, and you can still cramp by giving your body a ton of sodium. The critical thing is, if you're going to get more sodium, you need more potassium, you need more magnesium, you need more calcium, you need more chloride. All 5 of those electrolytes are critical. If you can keep those in balance, then you can keep exercising without cramping. We also use 2,000 milligrams of amino acids, branched-chain amino acids and glutamine, and there's 200% RDA vitamin C. This is really critical as well, because I talked about fast absorption. Now, there's a lot of products out there that use protein as their fuel or part of their drink structure in their fuel. Proteins are typically slower absorbed. And again, if something is slower absorbed, I already talked about why that doesn't work. So what we did, we looked at the research on proteins, because there's certainly some good research on using protein during exercise. Some of the key amino acids in protein are glutamine and the branched-chain amino acids. They're inherent in every protein out there. If you look at the research on glutamine and branched-chain amino acids, that same research found in protein is found in those free-form amino acids. Free-form amino acids are harder to use, they're more expensive, but you get all the benefit of the protein, and they get absorbed in 5 minutes instead of hours for some of those proteins. So in a product like EFS, where delivering the fuel as fast as you can to the muscles is key, having amino acids over proteins gives you much, much better performance for the product. Using 3 sources improves your performance as well. Some recent research done by Dr. Jukendrup proved that you can actually absorb carbohydrates concurrently, meaning you can absorb it at different channels in your body, different parts of your digestive system at the same time. So if you focus on a single carbohydrate source like maltodextrin, it's trying to go through one part of your digestive system. If you add sucrose and glucose, which are also high glycemic, it can be absorbed in different areas. You can absorb higher rates of carbohydrates. So having 3 is really critical. Multiple channels of absorption is what we call that. High glycemic, low osmolality in the products as well. And like I said earlier, this is appropriate for any distance, whether you're doing a 5K or 100-mile running race. Any distance, it's appropriate. Electrolyte comparison, if you look at the EFS versus the competition, I think this chart says it all. This is what the research shows you need. Okay, these products now, people that use these products are popping electrolyte pills because these products just don't have the electrolytes available in there. We're the only product out there that really does not require any additional electrolyte pills out there. So you look at EFS compared to Hammer's Heed, Hammer Sustained Energy, Cytomax, Gatorade, Accelerate, Goo's Electrolyte Brew, and then Hammer also has some Endurolite capsules. So you can see, really, it's not even close. Best way to use EFS, really any exercise, an hour or more. Even shorter than that, you can really use it. Training for any big event, you know, where your carbohydrates and your electrolytes are key. Remember that your pace really determines how much carbohydrates, how much glucose you need. If I'm going really hard, I need a lot of glucose. I'm depleting my glycogen. So pace is really key. If I'm going real easy, you're burning mostly fats. So as the pace goes up, it's more critical to make sure you use a fuel to keep you fueled. Stabilizing blood sugar. This is critical because a lot of you consult with people that are trying to lose weight or people on a diet. And a lot of those people like to get on the treadmill and drink nothing but water because they're worried about calories. So what are they doing when they're drinking their water? They're depleting their glycogen. And then their glycogen is low when they get off the treadmill, and it has to be replenished again. That's driving cortisol levels up. Okay, Okay? That's burning their muscle, that's storing their fat. Stabilizing someone's blood sugar can be real critical to their health, their performance, and their diet. If you deplete your glycogen and try to replenish it immediately, okay, your body is starting to go into a sugar high, sugar crash, and in the end, you tend to eat more calories that way. If you can keep the body stabilized of its blood sugar, then the body doesn't crave some of these sugars and some additional carbohydrates.
What about diabetics?
Very, very good question. Diabetics. Your body works completely different at exercise and immediately afterwards than at any other time. The rules at exercise and immediately afterwards do not apply when you're at rest. We've had many, many diabetics use this product with great, great success, even Ironman distance, because again, the whole purpose of what a diabetic is trying to do is an even, steady fuel supply. You know, if you're consuming things that are slow to absorb, they get stuck in the stomach, he doesn't know or she doesn't know where the fuel supply is going to come in or not. So this gives you a steady fuel supply. Obviously with diabetics, we recommend they work with their doctors, a glucose meter and all that, but they'll find during exercise it's very, very effective to use a product that's high glycemic like EFS, not at rest. Yeah.
Do you find with the high concentration of the electrolytes that it ever causes any like stomach distension? Usually things are really concentrated when it's going through your small intestines. So
Yeah.
you actually have to take water and moisture from the surrounding tissue to dilute it, which can cause cramping.
No.
So,
You need much, much, much higher levels of that to start causing any kind of issues whatsoever. At the levels we have here, it gets absorbed very, very easy. There's no issues with a stomach distension. Now, if you took that many electrolytes without the appropriate amount of water, that would certainly happen. But you know, a serving of EFS, 100 calories, 1,200 milligrams of electrolytes, and 12 ounces of water. So with the water, not an issue at all. Yeah.
What would be the most calories you'd recommend for an endurance athlete to be taking during exercise?
That's the $1 million question.
I normally coach most of my athletes between 200 and 300 an hour, depending on body size and how they handle the product in their stomach. Is that appropriate?
That is certainly appropriate. You're also doing something with substrate utilization, substrate testing that you mentioned earlier. So we're now learning more and more that athletes can really, their bodies are very, very adaptable. And a lot of athletes are starting to do training sessions where they teach their body to burn fat more efficiently. When you do that, you can require less carbohydrates for long distance training. But I have athletes that use 600 calories per hour.
Really?
Yeah.
For sustained?
Sustained for hours and hours. I have athletes that can do an Ironman 120 calories per hour. The variance is tremendous, and it really has to do with how they train and how efficient their body is at burning fat and pace. You know, if you're trying to do a long sustained effort at a pace near threshold, you're going to be burning quite a bit of carbohydrates. And that's what you're trying to replenish, is just the carbohydrates you use, not the fat. We all have enough fat in our bodies to go days and days. So pace is really key, and how someone trains is really key. So it's a difficult question to answer for most people. So bottom line, the absolute highest quality. Again, this is critical, not only for our customers out there, for the professional athletes out there, making sure there's no banned substances. Highly research-based formulas. Okay, we look deeply into the clinical research out there, and in the end, you know, our goal is none other than making the best endurance supplements in the world. That's it. That's who we want to be. We don't want to be anybody else. Our goal is to build the absolute best endurance products in the world. These athletes give us the input they need to make sure they can compete with the best people out there. That's how we build our products.